the simmering tension between the duplicitous Duke and his facelift-enhanced wife. Here's the red carpet arrival.
They go, we gotta make that go away. But there's real estate on a website homepage. There is real estate there on a newspaper front cover. And something has to be filled in there about someone royal.
It all began with one post. One small post that Meghan Markle never expected, especially not from someone she once called her best friend. But in Hollywood, being loyal doesn't last forever. And once the cameras turn on and the secrets come out, that loyalty disappears faster than bubbly drinks at a Netflix party. This time, the backstab didn't come from a gossip magazine or a palace worker. It came from inside. A woman Meghan had eaten private meals with, giggled with, maybe even trusted when the world felt too mean. And the second that post appeared online, Prince Harry reportedly went crazy mad. Let's go back a little.
Priority list.
I feel fortunate that our children are...
Just weeks earlier, Meghan had been on her self-described Paris comeback trip. She wanted to take back her story to be seen not as the embarrassed Duchess, but as the stylish, powerful person she always believed she could be. Pictures of her at the Ritz drinking coffee in huge sunglasses were supposed to shout cool return. But instead, the news articles were suggesting something else completely. Who's paying the check this time? And just as that talk started to disappear, her friend, let's call her the insider for now, shared a mysterious story on Instagram. Nothing too wild at first look, just an old photo of Meghan from their past Soho House times with the words, "Some people forget where they started until their history comes calling."
Now, we were just saying how we never have a moment to catch up.
It was gentle, almost like poetry. But in the world of social media, being gentle is like fuel, and within hours, the internet was on fire. People flooded in, picking apart every word, every emoji, every possible meaning. Was this a threat, a backstab, or a carefully planned reveal? And that's when things got worse. Because this insider, as it came out, wasn't just any friend. She was someone who had been in Meghan's close inner group long before royal names and California houses. Someone who knew the early struggle, the quiet plans, the carefully built image that would someday make Meghan the Duchess who beat the firm. And now she wasn't going along anymore.
We'll see you upstairs.
According to many reports, Harry learned about the viral post before Meghan did when his phone started lighting up with messages from helpers and image managers. One source described his reaction as like a volcano. He supposedly rushed into the kitchen of their Montecito house, shaking his phone and asking to know who this friend was and why she was saying this. Now, Meghan, meanwhile, was reportedly shocked. Not mad, not yet, just shocked. Because for her, every action, every friendship, every public appearance is part of the big game board she's created to survive in both royal and Hollywood groups. The thought that someone she believed in might break formation like this, it wasn't just personal, it was planned destruction. By the next morning, that one mysterious post had turned into a complete scandal. The friend had gone live on TikTok, and that's when things got truly ugly. With a worried laugh and a glass of white wine nearby, she started sharing secrets that Meghan had spent years trying to hide. Nothing clearly insulting. She was careful, but just enough truth to hurt. She talked about how Meghan supposedly practiced princess movements in the mirror years before meeting Harry. How she wished about marrying someone royal or super rich. How during her early Hollywood work, Meghan was always planning something and never just relaxing for fun. And the part that sent shockwaves, the friend said Meghan wrote her entire story before the Oprah interview, even practicing emotional breaks and sentences meant to create worldwide sympathy. "I'm not saying she's phony," the friend said during the video, "but let's just say she's always known how to turn hurt into money." That video went viral. 20 million watches in under 24 hours. Hashtag Meghan Exposed trended everywhere. And Harry, he reportedly exploded. According to insiders, Harry was angry, not just at the friend, but at Meghan for allowing this to happen. He couldn't understand how someone from her own group could surprise them like this. One royal writer claimed Harry was heard saying something like, "This is exactly why the family never trusted anyone near you." That sentence alone, if real, would have hurt deeply. Behind locked doors, Montecito insiders say Meghan went into full emergency mode. Her team supposedly tried contacting the friend to explain her words, offering a meeting to fix the record, but it was too late. The story had already grown a life of itself. And here's the shocking part. Big news places started investigating. British newspapers, American gossip programs, even French publications who'd covered Meghan's recent Paris visit. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. Who was this friend? And what else did she know?
But what's so interesting about it is that it is so much worse than we could reasonably have expected.
Stories flew that she'd already been contacted by a streaming company. Yes, the same one that gave Meghan and Harry their multi-million-dollar agreement to do an honest tell-all on her experiences with the Duchess. That's when the story changed. Harry, seeing the problem growing online, reportedly demanded they make a statement, something to calm the fight, to suggest it was all a confusion between friends. But Meghan refused. Her ego wouldn't let her give in to someone she saw as a lesser person. Instead, she supposedly decided to fight back quietly, not through words, but through power. Her team started giving positive stories to friendly reporters, showing Meghan as the misunderstood victim of jealous people. They pointed out her charity work, her motherhood times, her strength. But no amount of shiny PR could hide the fact that this time the knife came from inside. And that made it hurt far more than any royal fight. And for Harry, that was the last straw. He was reportedly embarrassed that Meghan's personal life kept spilling into the public view, destroying what little trust they had left. Sources close to the couple say stress in their home reached an all-time peak, with Harry supposedly hiding to his separate office for hours straight, avoiding calls and meetings. Meanwhile, the friend, encouraged by the viral attention, posted again. This time a short message that read, "Sometimes the truth doesn't need a palace. It just needs Wi-Fi." The internet went wild. It was clever, sharp, and strangely directed. And Meghan, already suffering from the storm, reportedly cried that night. To her, this wasn't just betrayal. It was revealing. The friend hadn't just removed the curtain on her public image. She'd reminded the world that Meghan's fairy tale wasn't as perfect as it seemed. By now, fans and haters alike were divided. Some defended Meghan, saying everyone deserves privacy. Others said it was about time someone from her inner circle spoke up. But one thing was clear, the balance of power had moved. And for the first time in a long time, Meghan Markle wasn't controlling the story because the truth wasn't being told for her this time. It was being told about her. And that's exactly where things start to get truly dangerous. When the dust first cleared over the viral storm, you'd think Meghan Markle might have taken a step back, regrouped, planned, maybe even called a PR meeting with her team in Montecito. But oh no, what came next was anything but calm. Because if there's one thing Meghan Markle doesn't do, it's sit quietly while someone else steals her spotlight.
I put myself at risk for that, but I will continue on with a life of public service.
According to several insiders, the Montecito house turned into a battle room overnight. The curtains were closed. The phones never stopped ringing. And Meghan, she reportedly spent hours walking the floor, holding her phone, checking feeds, and rereading every post, every comment, every attack. One source claimed she wasn't just upset, she was burning mad. You could almost feel the anger coming off her.
Is securely tucked away on a private, gated street.
Harry, meanwhile, wasn't handling things any better. He'd been trying hard to keep the peace between his wife and the world. But this was different. This wasn't just palace talk or unknown newspapers. This was personal. This came from someone Meghan had once loved and trusted. And worse, the backstab was viral for her.
Becoming more isolated, winding up the royal family, and people are beginning to turn off and switch off from them.
For Harry, who has spent years protecting Meghan from criticism, the embarrassment cut deep. He reportedly yelled at workers, blaming careless friends and Hollywood fakes for dragging Meghan's name through the dirt. But behind that anger was something else, tiredness. A royal insider told one UK newspaper he's exhausted. He feels like they're fighting ghosts. Ghosts from her past, ghosts from his family. It never stops. But Meghan's anger, that was planned. Within 48 hours of the viral TikTok, her team supposedly jumped into what one image person described as emergency PR response. Calls were made to friendly places. Rumors were planted on social media, and suddenly, conveniently, Stories started appearing showing Meghan as the victim of a jealous ex-friend who was trying to make money on her fame. It was classic Meghan. Control the story before it controls you. But this time, the story refused to cooperate.
Whether they were true or not, to avoid other less favourable stories being printed.
Because as Meghan's PR machine started up, her former friend, now called the whistleblower by the news, was quietly making a deal. Not just a random influencer brand deal or a magazine interview. No, this was something bigger. Streaming giant Netflix. The same one that once gave Harry and Meghan their 9-figure contract was reportedly in talks to feature the friend in a new tell-all show about the dark side of fame and friendship in Hollywood. And while no names were confirmed publicly, everyone knew exactly who it was about. That's when things went explosive. One newspaper described Meghan as being in complete breakdown mode. She supposedly stormed out of a meeting, yelling that Netflix was stabbing her in the back after everything she and Harry had done to make them look good. At home, things got even worse. Harry reportedly begged with Meghan to ignore it, to let it blow over. But Meghan wasn't built for silence. She was built for control. And seeing someone else command the story, especially through the very platform that once celebrated her, that was unforgivable. The stress between them was obvious. Witnesses claimed that during a dinner with friends in Santa Barbara, Harry appeared distant. While Meghan was barely holding her anger, she reportedly complained that she was being targeted from all directions. First the royal family, then the media, and now her own friends. But Harry, already breaking under the pressure, reportedly snapped back. Maybe if you stop fighting everyone, they wouldn't all become enemies. That sentence hung in the air. Sources close to the couple say Meghan left the table in tears, going to the bathroom for nearly 20 minutes before returning with red eyes but a fake smile. To the public, they were still the picture-perfect pair. But behind the smiles, the foundation was cracking. Meanwhile, the friend story kept spreading, growing, changing, feeding the online craziness. Talk shows started picking it apart. Royal commenters guessed on air. Even late-night comedians slipped in a few jokes. And then came the moment that changed everything. Netflix dropped a preview trailer. The clip was barely 30 seconds long. A dark silhouette, a woman's voice saying, "Fame doesn't change you. It shows who you always were." No name, no face, but the hidden meaning crystal clear. Meghan reportedly exploded. She supposedly called her PR team in the middle of the night, demanding to know if they could legally stop the release. When told it wasn't about her by name, Meghan reportedly fumed. "Everyone knows it's me. They're embarrassing me without saying it." Harry, however, was done fighting. Insiders claim he pulled back completely, spending long hours away from the house, even booking solo meetings with advisors to discuss their ongoing Netflix responsibilities. His biggest fear that the platform might cut ties altogether, stopping not just their trust, but a major money lifeline. By this point, the public had taken sides. Some saw Meghan as a victim of backstab. Others called it fair justice. The Duchess finally facing results for her own controlling behavior. Every talk show, every gossip page, every Twitter discussion was beating with Meghan's name. But for the first time, her silence wasn't planned. It was beaten. Behind closed doors, she reportedly broke down completely. Friends say she spent days in bed refusing calls, skipping events, and crying over what she saw as the ultimate betrayal. Doria, her mother, supposedly flew in to check on her. But even that reunion couldn't soften the edges of embarrassment. Harry tried at first to comfort her, but their arguments grew too frequent, too explosive. He was tired of the endless problems, the public battles, the emotional roller coaster. He loves her, one insider said, but he's exhausted by the drama. And then came the final twist. The friend didn't just stop at one show. Reports came out that she'd signed with a major podcast network, and her first episode titled The Duchess and the Truth. Within hours of that announcement, Meghan's PR team rushed again, pushing new positive stories, accidentally leaking photos of Meghan and Harry at a charity event, smiling hand in hand. But the internet wasn't buying it. The story had already hardened. Meghan, once the media's golden girl, was now seen as the queen of control, finally facing her match. And for Harry, it was heartbreaking. He'd given up everything, his family, his titles, his reputation to protect Meghan. But in that moment, as he watched her fall apart under the weight of her own past, he realized something no royal training could prepare him for. You can protect someone from the world, but you can't protect them from themselves. The Friends backstab didn't just start a media firestorm. It showed the cracks in Meghan and Harry's empire. And as Hollywood turned its attention elsewhere, one question stayed in the air, echoing across Montecito. What happens when the world finally stops listening?